Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode. This episode is going to be a little different, not a weekly news episode, but it's a summer box office episode. And joining me, as always, is my co-host, but this time he is across the couch from me. Tony, how's it going?
Across the couch. Hello, Patrick.
Across the couch.
How was your summer?
We had a little bit of a hiatus with this podcast, but
I'd like to call it a summer vacation. We took a summer vacation from the podcast.
We did.
And it ended up being a very life-changing summer.
I would say very, very life-changing summer.
For us both.
For both of us, yeah. And now we're in person here.
This is our first podcast back, and we're very happy to be back.
Very happy to be back in person, and getting back into the groove of doing episodes. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're entering Oscar season soon, starting in September.
Yeah, but before we get there, let's just talk about how great of a summer it was as a movie fan, as a cinephile.
It was, like, I mean, for me, I think it was good, but also I think from an industry standpoint, I think it was okay for the industry, minus 2 or 3 movies.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess do you consider May? I mean, we're gonna talk about some May films, but do you consider May like summer movies, or do you consider like June summer?
I would consider July, and
July,
I think
summer.
Yeah, for May, you're throwing some out there into the ocean. I'm basically just gonna be using Jaws as like like the symbol of, like, I guess, industry right now. You're throwing a couple of bait in there, and then June, you're definitely want to establish yourself. You want at least a solid 2 or 1 hit if you're a studio, and then July is your full-fledged, like, this is it. This is exactly what we've been waiting for all summer. I feel like the Odyssey and Spider-Man Brand New Day both were very intricate points in the year because everybody had nothing to do. It was the summer. You knew that you're going to the movies. I guess whenever I said this summer was a really great summer as a movie fan, that is subjective because there are only some movie fans that have like a specific genre that they're excited for, an example like horror. But also, if you're a movie fan of all genres, you can have fun no matter what. It just depends, but you can definitely dip your toes into different genres during the summer, and that's why I enjoy the summer season. That being said, we haven't done a recording since Obsession. We could have played it up that we just broke a One Wish Willow after Obsession, and something happened, and we came back. Something just magically happened. But no, I'm excited to talk about the summer movies with you and get back into the swing of things and get a good feel on the success of a movie, and then also like what our thoughts are and where we think some of the talent's going, where some of the filmmakers are going. Basically just reading how we felt the summer went and also what's in store for the future.
Yeah, I think, like you said, that reactions to films during the summer are subjective, and obviously there's some movies here that vastly overperformed. Then even like the Odyssey and Spider-Man vastly overperformed in their expectations. So
Right.
It'll be interesting, I think, the staying power of some of these movies, and some of them bombed. It was really bad. Some of them did really bad.
Also, the rewatch value. The rewatch value in a lot of them. I mean, just to kick things off, and we'll just start here. I caught Obsession again, not in the movie theater, but I rewatched Obsession at home. I watched a 4K version of it, and I gotta say, I enjoyed it a lot better the second time around, and maybe it'll grow on me, but I do like that there is some rewatch value there. So let's just kick things off with Obsession, the indie sleeper hit of the summer. I mean, Jason Blum went to TIFF and, saw something and captured it, and I mean, thank God. I mean, gave us a great like star on the rise, Indy Navarrete, and I'm sure we'll have some things here and there woven into our film news recaps in the future that we have to like say about her and her future, and I'm just really excited for her out of this. But what was the overall box office total for Obsession?
I think I was looking at the news today. I think it crossed 500 million.
God damn, like, you can't ask for a better, like, I mean, it's a commercial hit.
It's one of the biggest films of all time.
It's a commercial hit. I think from a story standpoint, I was a lot more submerged into it the second time than I was the first time.
Yeah.
But you also rewatched it. What did you think?
I liked it a lot more the second time too. I think, yes, it's amazing for Focus Features and Universal. Like, that movie is considered one of the biggest films of all time. It is the most successful film I think in the last 10 years now, it's the most successful film. But I still think that, well, in our past episode when we talked about Obsession, that some of the things I was saying, that it still relies on her performance, but I did like it more the second time. So
your argument was that for a lot of people who clinged on to Obsession during that first part of the summer were kind of acting like it was like the best movie ever of all time, like kind of like saying everything prior to 2026 sucked balls, but now Obsession is like the new standard. And we're going to learn very quickly that that wasn't exactly true for the entire summer. That's why you got to wait the entire year before you say something about a movie. You know, it's very in the moment. You get really excited, like, you know, jumping on Letterboxd to like give your review, do your reel or post on TikTok and stuff like that. You got to wait for all the movies to come out for the year before you really like claim your top film of the summer or the season, which I am very glad I waited until I said what my favorite film of the summer was, and we're going to talk about it at the end. But overall thoughts of Obsession, and then we'll move on to the next movie of the summer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see what people, because Indy is now in X-Men.
Yes, congratulations
so people are,
to Indy Never Ready.
Yes, congratulations, yes. But now I'm like more curious as in like the people that loved Obsession now that now are starting to turn on her because, oh wow, she's sold out to make money. Like, wow, how dare an actor make money?
It's like the thing you say about the internet needing a punching bag.
Yeah, they need a punching bag. They always do, and it's never men. I'll say it's never men.
Well, here's the thing. Indy Never Ready will never be a punching bag on this podcast or in our lives because we just want her to do whatever she wants, and that should be whether it's a friend or a star that you're following on social media or just someone that you're really excited to see, like in the movies, you should always just want for them to be happy. And it looks like she's happy right now. And that's all I care
good
about.
Yeah, exactly. Make your money. But I think I still have the same issues with if you remove her performance, the movie's fine. I like it more the more I watched it. I've only seen it twice, and I did watch the 4K and it looked great. And I'm excited to watch more of it, but I think it's a decent movie, solid movie. I wouldn't say it's the greatest film ever made. I mean, it's one of the most successful films ever made. It's a fact, but I think it's fine. Like, it's solid. It's
I had fun with Obsession. I'm excited for what's next for Curry Barker.
I think I'm more curious, especially the next film we're going to talk about, Backrooms. I think I told you there was like I don't know if it was Rolling Stone or IndieWire. One of them made a list of the top 100 directors working in Hollywood right now, and Kane Parsons and Curry Barker were ahead of like Wes Anderson and like Michael Mann. I mean, yeah, I guess if you just looked at this year and they haven't come out with a movie this year, so I guess, yeah, they're technically working better than them, but I was just like, okay, I think we really need to take a moment to like sit here.
There are a lot of articles that came out on the back end of Obsession and Backrooms, and I guess, yeah, we'll like officially move into Backrooms territory now. It was just a lot of very, very interesting takes on like where the industry was going in that moment. Like June, what was it? May and
I would say beginning of June. Yeah,
some very, very hot button, very bold statements about where things were and how horrible they have been for, I guess, the last however long films have been made. There's this photo of both of them together with the guy that I've been following for a very, very long time, and he has his own YouTube channel, his own podcast. They're now doing films. They have a film competition. Things are really taking off for them. But the caption was, "This is the future of horror," in one picture. And part of me was like, okay, like, yeah, like that might be part of it, but there's also like a whole other like group of people who aren't white guys that are like going to be the voice of horror as well. It just kind of, it rubbed me the wrong way, and maybe that's what it was. There's a lot of stuff on the internet that likes to like, you know, they like to rage bait or be like, oh yeah, like what about us? And then that's when they're like, say like woke or whatever. It's real stupid, but we will see that wasn't just the finite voice of, you know, future horror movies, that there's actually gonna we're in good hands, let's just say that. But we caught Backrooms in the theater. I guess I got lucky and had a well-behaved audience. I felt very chill and like relaxed while watching Backrooms. It had that vibe, but I also grew up like watching those like creepy videos on YouTube about like going through like haunted places. I watched Sam and Colby. I've showed you Sam and Colby. They like go through all the haunted places, and it just had very much that vibe. Yeah. It felt trendy. Yeah, is what I'm trying to say. How did you feel watching Backrooms?
Backrooms and Obsession are like the same, not like the same like level, but to me it's like, yes, these are good movies, but they're nothing incredible to me. Like, they're nothing like, and yeah, it's like Kane Parsons, what, he's like 20 something, whatever. Again, Backroom has made like 400 million worldwide. It's A24's most successful film of all time. I had the same feeling watching it. Like, it's very chill. And then when it kind of ended, and I didn't watch any of the Backroom stuff, like lore, I didn't know any of it. And when it ended, I was like, it was fine. But when I put Kane Parsons and Curry Barker as the next top directors in Hollywood, I have to see their next project. They said that about Neil Blomkamp, and then he just kept making District 9 again. And now...
that's a good point.
No shot at Neil Blomkamp, sorry, but where's Neil Blomkamp at?
I think there's just a lot of pressure right now, right? In the same conversation, it's really unfair to put that much pressure on these guys. They're so young. This is like a debut feature. It should just be left at that. It's almost places this insane amount of pressure to be like, well, if your next movie sucks, we're going to call you a flop. The world is moving so much faster with these things now. It's like the thing that you say about influencers being really excited to go to the next event or the next movie thing so that they can get more content. They're super excited to go to the next festival and watch all these movies and rate them on Letterboxd, but it's like not allowing yourself the time to like sit with something and like, I really enjoyed that. But with Backrooms, it was okay. I had fun with it. From a guy that loves the practicality of things, I thought it was cool that they built a practical maze for the filmmakers and the actors to go through. You know how they say like method actors or whatever? I thought that was very method to like actually place them in an area where they're not familiar with. And I'm sure seeing that come to life for that Kane Parsons guy was like really crazy, like out of body experience.
And you're getting Chiwetel and Renata in it like as your first movie.
And that part made me excited for him. That's the part that I like of it. The actual movie, I was like, this is okay.
I don't know the Backrooms lore, so everyone probably listening to this could be like, well, you just don't get it, man. It's like, I didn't say the movie's bad. I like the movie, but it's just, I guess my mind with Obsession and Backrooms, it kind of was going towards is this a little bit overrated? As in, like, these movies they're good, solid films, but are they incredible? I don't know. That's just my perspective.
No, and I respect it, because in that same conversation, your opinion should not be devalued just because you don't like something that everybody else likes. That's literally like high school. Solid start. Everybody was talking about movies in May and early June.
Especially those two.
It was all over social media. You couldn't escape it. I feel like it gave people a lot of content to play with, and they Kubricked the fuck out of Obsession. And the filmmaker even came out and said, like, there's some stuff that's like, I guess like could be accurate and true, but I really wasn't thinking about it that way. But it's great that you thought that. I feel like everybody really, really, really wanted Obsession and Backrooms to be like their movie. Like, that's my movie. I know everything about it, kind of thing. From my perspective, and this is me just kind of like stirring the pot, it might as well be a spoon because I'm just stirring the pot a little bit. I was really shocked to see how well received Obsession and Backrooms were at the beginning. And I remember this because I was online whenever this happened. I did not see the same buzz around Sinners for like a solid like month. It took a couple rewatches for people and like convincing them to like go see it again and again and again to have the same buzz. It really rubbed me the wrong way. I was like, you love horror, huh? Really? That's interesting. You're watching these movies, but you didn't want to watch the movie last year.
The one that won Oscars and...
The one who won half of the Oscars.
Sorry to the fans of those films, but they're not winning Academy Awards.
So there's a lot of horror in May and early June. And then we'll come right back with this next movie. Kind of funny thinking about how This actually wasn't that bad of a movie commercially. Scary Movie 6. Did we watch Scary Movie 6?
We did.
I forgot. I mean, it's been a long summer. Yeah, I mean, I think the coolest thing was seeing like kind of a return to form for, the original raunchy, nasty comedy, the jokes, the meta humor, and all of our recent movies being tied into Scary Movie. I guess like the continuity of the franchise. What did you think about the Wayans Bros teaming up with Regina Hall and Anna Faris again?
I mean, it's great to see them all coming back. I know, was it after the second or third one they left? The second one? I think it was the second one, right?
So the sequels were ripped away from them, from the producers, and what they wanted to do with it moving forward. So it wasn't that they specifically didn't want to work with the original team. It just like every other IP contracts and story and just things changing. I mean, the franchise was ripped away from the Wayans Bros like themselves. So I'm sure that they had very little say in who was coming back or like what they were going to be doing moving forward. The younger generation didn't really vibe with this one. It was more for like their parents, and I mean, I really didn't mind it. I mean, I knew exactly what kind of like humor it was going to be. It wasn't anything like, oh man, I'm laughing my ass off. Like I can't contain myself. And I was really looking forward to that part of it, especially with like Scary Movie 2. Like those jokes were insane, and like they really do like take the breath out of you. That's what it is. I was expecting like to be laughing so hard like I couldn't breathe. It was just like it was like a solid like,
that's where I was at. I think I was just like, this could be like really good. And I'm chuckling every once in a while, but I'm like, it's actually kind of disappointing. Like this movie's just like, it's not bad, but I'm never going to watch it again. I just wanted it to be like a lot funnier, and I don't know. I think some of the jokes landed. Sometimes I was just like, it's whatever of a joke, but...
Have you ever seen How High or like Half Baked? It was very much like that vibe. It's a comedy movie from comedians, but like very I guess like Comedy Central kind of movie, chill college movies.
It made a profit. Like it made over $100 million worldwide. So like it was successful, and I mean the reviews weren't good for it, but I mean they don't care. So
I think that them actually being capable of being able to go there, especially in such like a very, very cautious, we're all cautious to laugh at things or like to talk about things because we of course don't want to be offensive and inclusive. But for me, movies like that are like a culture checkpoint because you can really, really see like how things have evolved and changed for the better and worse. I feel like movies like Scary Movie 6 are kind of like essential to, seeing where culture is at. And like,
but I think with like the two, like you're saying that younger generations don't vibe with it because it's not their type of humor. And to also say for this recap, we're just talking about movies that we've seen. Obviously there's other movies that did come out that we didn't see. And I was going to mention Jackass because that came out, which again, early 2000s, late 90s type of prank humor that obviously that's all TikTok, Instagram, all those people try to do that stuff. It's like you wouldn't have that without Jackass doing that. And that movie didn't do that well. Again, it's a divide of people like us who are just like, like I'll see it when it's all like on Paramount or whatever. I'll watch it there. Or that younger generation just doesn't really care about that. And they just want to watch the guy on TikTok do it for 30 seconds as opposed to an hour and a half movie of them doing a bunch of different stuff that they don't think is funny.
Yeah, I think it's a really weird concept to explain, like, hey, these guys are like almost like the founding fathers of like TV pranks,
the grandfathers of sketch, like not sketch pranks, I guess.
Like even like the physical comedy and like, for example, The Office or like Parks and Rec, like shows like those, or what's that other one, Workaholics. You wouldn't have any of those shows if it wasn't for Jackass. I mean, solid first part of the summer. Then things started to get really interesting because this part, I feel like every movie that came out had like a magnifying glass on it. It was post Obsession, post Backrooms, right in the middle of this merger. Can just like their films came out. Everything felt so tight and like you could not wiggle around and like revisiting movies and talking about movies like that you once enjoyed before. It felt like everything was being looked at through a magnifying glass. And I say all this while teeing up our next movie that we're going to talk about, because it's one that we both enjoyed a lot and really felt a connection with, but a good solid chunk of not just the internet, but people who aren't online and talk about
even
movies.
Critics too.
Yeah, critics as well did not mesh with, and that's Disclosure Day by Steven Spielberg. I want to approach every single one of these films with the utmost respect and be fair, and not, of course, like say whether or not I fucking liked it, but also at the same time talk about why you don't think like it didn't connect with like an audience or something. So that being said, what was your first experience like with Disclosure Day, and what do you think that maybe, say for example, like someone like in your family wouldn't even want to watch it, or if they did watch it, what would they think? Just kind of like playing devil's advocate. What was that like for you watching Disclosure Day for the first time?
I loved it. And I think we saw it, 2 times in like 24 hours or something?
Yeah. So we watched it. We watched a 7 o'clock showing, and then immediately right after, I think we both were like, I kind of want to watch it today again and see if I feel the exact same way.
Yeah.
And then we went like 2 hours later after getting dinner, and yeah, it was
Felt
the same
exact
thing.
way.
Yeah.
But I could see why audiences, and I mean, this financially really wasn't successful either. It only, like, I think it ended at like 200 something, but I mean, for a name like Steven Spielberg, for a summer spectacle like that, and you have audiences that don't really seem to care anymore about that. And I mean, if you look at, he made the blockbuster movie. Jaws is the first blockbuster summer. That is the movie, is Jaws, and that's the blueprint. And these audiences they're like, well, this is the pinnacle for me now, and if it doesn't reach that, then these movies suck. And they don't suck. And I think there's also a thing where movies can't be okay. Like, we thought Scary Movie 6 was okay. Some people would say that movie was terrible. It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. Or that was my favorite movie of the year. There's no in-between. And sometimes maybe a Disclosure Day for someone could just be it was okay. Like, it's fine. And I think some general audiences, I think they wanted it to be like an alien invasion movie, and it wasn't.
Took the okay and moved it like 10 houses down kind of thing.
And then obviously it's like, I mean, spoiler or whatever, but if you watch like the end of the movie, like when everything is revealed, everyone's all using their phones and staring at their phones and recording with their phones. And it's like, I kind of want to, maybe he's trying to tell you something as well, that maybe we are addicted to things that we become obsessed with, and we're all looking at something. It's like, I see like when you watch a concert now, and like everyone's watching the concert recording through their phone when the person's standing right there. Like, Spielberg, he is one of the greatest filmmakers of all time, but I guess the question now, even the question to you is, do people care anymore about the name Steven Spielberg when it comes to a movie?
I think they do. I don't think it's the level of care or the buying into a filmmaker whenever you go to see a movie in a theater. I think the disconnect that at least is going on from like my perspective is that this isn't the same world as whenever Spielberg made Jurassic Park.
Yeah, or even War of the World. That's 21 years ago.
There was a lot of mystery in the world whenever Spielberg came out with Jurassic Park that made that movie the commercial box office. Even Jaws, I mean, just different world, different time. I saw a couple of reviews where they almost hit the nail on it, but not in the way that I perceive it to be, was that this film came out 10 years late. And I don't think that's necessarily true. I just think that Disclosure Day, as a film, being released in 2026, whenever we as a people have been through so many different things in the last, I'd say, like 5 years as a whole, that even a movie about like an alien invasion or like the government lying to us just kind of felt like, that feels like that's like, I mean, it's a fantasy film, right? It felt real. It felt like he was doing The Post, like based on true events kind of thing. It felt like that. For some reason, for me, I feel like there's a disconnect because it almost felt too close to reality. It didn't feel fantastical to them or something like that. But
I think like
maybe I'm still like super off.
No, not at all. Like I think that sometimes movies like this come out and people are I think they want more from it, but when it ends, they're like, that's it, like that's the ending, like oh, whatever, this movie sucks.
Yeah.
And 10 years from now, they rewatch it and be like, wait a minute, like there's a lot of good stuff here. Like, I mean, just you watch that movie, it's like this guy's just on another level of directing and blocking that Trey Barker and Kane Parsons, like I'm sure they would watch this movie and be like, I need to look like this. Like, and it's so easy for him to do that. And I think little things like that just aren't noticed anymore. Average audiences just want to watch the story. They don't really care about all that stuff. But the way audiences react to movies now, and maybe taking away from technique, and we're going to talk about a movie that we saw last night that we both loved, but they make fun of, and honestly, I kind of agree, they make fun of diopter shots. Like she makes like, oh, there's a diopter shot there. Like that shot is being way overused now. Cause just to be like, look, we have diopter shots in our movies. Like, cool, man. Anyone could do that. I think that general audiences are starting to just, and it could be contributed to the idea of using your phone all the time. It's like these movies kind of are background noise to them at this point. And I'm sure someone probably wanted to take out their phone watching Disclosure Day saying, this is boring. I just want to look at my phone, look at Instagram.
For me, Disclosure Day was this guy's been making films our whole lives, and he's been making films for like even like our parents, like their whole lives. I think it was just cool to see a Spielberg film in theaters, a new Spielberg film in theaters. That concept alone was just like enough for me to buy a ticket. But also the performances, the John Williams score, and it did take a little bit for it to like set in like that there was score. There was a lot more in the movie than I think what people were focusing on, which was just like the big dinosaur moment.
Yeah.
And I feel like the dinosaur moment, I feel like it was there and it was present in like the last 15 minutes. The whole last 15 minutes were, I mean, the most thrilling. I mean, I hate to say it, but maybe some people just didn't get it.
Basically what we're saying is in 20 years this movie's going to be on TCM and it's going to be watched by everybody, and they're like, wait, this movie is actually fantastic. And that's what happens sometimes. Interstellar has gotten a reprisal. A lot of people didn't like Interstellar when it came out. They thought it was like overrated, but then they rewatched it. Obviously they rewatched it like during Oppenheimer, like leading up to rewatching Nolan's films, and probably some people rewatched it before the Odyssey and they're like, wait, I actually like this a lot more than I did 10 years ago. I think I can relate to this a lot more. And basically what we're saying is that this movie in, I don't know, 10, 15 years could get a reprisal, and maybe people will actually really like it and like the concepts of it. And who knows, maybe there'll be videos of aliens just like, hey, there's an alien right there.
For me, I think the rewatch value is there. And also thinking about an ET/Disclosure Day double feature at home, it sounds amazing to me. So I'm not mad either way. I've learned that even though someone isn't a fan of a director that I love, I can still respect that person's opinion and like, you know, like, hey, like it doesn't matter, like we still love movies, so it's whatever. Now getting into a little bit of a fun part of the summer. I mean, this is where things start to take off in the like we're here. It's movie
summer
season. This one I will be very excited to own a physical copy of and just really vibe with how well the movie flows and everything, and the rewatch value. I can't wait to see if it has the same rewatch value as the first one. And we are talking about Pixar's Toy Story 5. Also, we just learned like this week, Pixar is 40 years old.
Yeah.
So happy anniversary, Pixar. And they came out
years.
with a banger.
Yeah.
A couple bangers this year.
First huge hit of the summer. I mean, 1.1 billion. Like, I mean, I think that's what I expected. And obviously later on, we're going to go back to our guesses from our summer box office and and see how we did and see a lot of movies didn't do very well basically, but Toy Story 5 was not one of them. Made 1.1 billion, and I think it comes actually on the time of this recording, it's hitting VOD this week, so it'll make more money there, and it's probably gonna be Oscar nominated Best Animated Feature.
I know. Yeah, it's almost like talking about those things with Toy Story just feels like textbook, but from a story standpoint, little me was so happy to just see Jessie get her own movie. I felt like this is Jessie's movie. And
I mean, you're Woody and Buzz, like they don't need to be in this movie. You could literally press delete.
No, literally, and that's what we were saying too. We were like, Woody doesn't have to be in this one.
Yeah.
And I almost feel like maybe they realized that too after it released and everything. Of course, like, you know, they're a unit, and I love that about the toys.
Yeah.
You also could tell that you know, some of the background toys or actors didn't have as many lines. They didn't have as many things to do in the film as much as, you know, say Jesse and the new toys did, or like the new cast. But I just loved that they were there. It was so comforting. I think the story was really relevant. I mean, I know a lot of people were scared they were gonna, you know, make technology this like bad thing, but it ends up being like how you use it.
Yeah.
The whole concept of using like the toy to have like some like really, really cathartic self journey about like self-worth and like purpose in a movie for like kids, it just feels great. I mean, Pixar movies are always gonna, you know, just be very special to all of us who early 90s, early 2000s spot, like the 90s basically. I mean, they'll always be special for that generation. But yeah, I had fun, and I cannot wait. Yeah, I can't wait to rewatch that one again. It was, Toy Story was a vibe.
No, I definitely liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to, because it's like at that point you're like, okay, Toy Story 5, like, Jesus Christ, what could they possibly still be needing to talk about? And they did it very well. Like, I loved it. I thought the addition of Conan O'Brien was great. I think he was kind of the standout comedic part of it. And they were older toys dealing with technology that surpassed them, and now the toys in the film are dealing with newer technology that surpasses them. And then they use AI, something that becomes self-aware of like, oh, I'm taking over. It's using AI, and it's like, this could be a problem down the line. But I think they handled it really well, and it was a massive hit. And inevitable Toy Story 6 is definitely gonna be made. So.
Yep, we'll be getting them for the rest of our lives.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's the first film they ever made, and it's their biggest franchise, and they're not gonna stop making them. I mean, if this movie only made $200 million, then yeah, they would stop. But no, it's 1.1 billion, and so I think it's the highest grossing Toy Story film ever. I think.
Good points. All good points.
So that brings us to another. I guess this isn't really a blockbuster film, but it was a film that we both loved a lot, and that is Leviticus. Definitely a smaller release. I mean, Neon did put this out. I think, was it in over 1,000 theaters? But it felt like a smaller release. We both loved it, and I think more people should be watching these films, and more films like this need to be made.
Yeah, debut feature from Adrian Chiarella. This one was so cool to see, have a showing in my hometown, in a very small, like, not very friendly towards LGBT people here in this region of the U.S. And it's like that everywhere, but it's just speaking from experience. But it was really cool to see Leviticus play at my local movie theater, and I for sure caught it. I probably should have gone both days it was showing, but it only showed 2 showings for 2 days, and it was great. Not the most intricate screenplay. It is not a auteur film by any means whatsoever. It just has a very, very heavy impact with the story, and how not just this upcoming generation, queer generation, but the generation that came before, to really just like have this registered connection with it. And I think that for it being a debut feature, for it being a horror film and a queer film, to have all those boxes checked, that's all you can ask for. I mean, it was great. I had such a good time with it. Could there have been some stronger things in it? Oh yeah, definitely. I'm not gonna be one to be like, oh, like, this movie was one of like my favorites, and like there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, there's something technically wrong with every movie. I mean, unless you're the Odyssey, but that's it.
I mean, it goes back to the conversation too of like, why wasn't Leviticus talked up as much as Obsession and Backrooms? Like, first time director, this is a queer film, and it should be talked about more. Like, why doesn't that hit the mark?
Yeah, why isn't he the future voice of horror as well?
Yeah, why isn't that talked about? We bring the hard-hitting questions to the audiences.
Just something to think about. I call them little drops of maybe you should think about that before you post it or talk about it.
Well, yeah, it's like an honest question. Like, why isn't he considered one of the next voices in horror? Yeah. Is it because this movie didn't make $500 million? Like, okay, well, Fast 10 makes $1 billion, and then they get like 30% of Rotten Tomatoes. Like just because they're making a shit ton of money doesn't mean they're like fantastic movies. So
Speaking of movies that should have been a commercial box office success, but something happened in front of the camera and behind the camera. Now we come to a really weird part of the summer where there's like a lull. And this is like where upsets started happening. You know what's crazy for me to think about? A light just went off in my head. Summer movie, projections and all that stuff, that's starting to become as exciting as the Oscars on Oscars night. The upsets, the wins, and everything, projecting, circling back and being like, what did we get right? What did we get wrong? And the audience is getting smarter is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
The audience is getting smarter. They're deciding, what to spend their time on, what not to spend their time on, if they can wait for this to go to VOD, or if they want to go to the theater to experience it around other people. General audience is getting smarter, which only means that critics are providing a lot more insight to why these movies aren't working, and then also people that are constantly talking about movies online, they are also sharpening their sword whenever it comes to delivering whether or not a movie's worth your time. So, Supergirl. Is this my first upset of the summer? That is a good question. The answer is yes.
I mean, it's one of the biggest bombs of all time from a studio standpoint, especially a superhero film. And it's no fault to the people in it. They're acting in the movie. They're not doing anything like, a lot of behind the scenes issues. There's clearly 30 minutes missing from this movie. 30 minutes of a backstory of a villain that
You feel it.
They're touching on like sex trafficking, but they're not really. And it's kind of just like, this is a weird area you're going down, and you don't really like address what you're doing. And then the movie's just kind of it's not a bad movie. Like, it's very just like, this is fine. But the problem is, this is DC's first film after their reboot. They did Superman, and now they're doing Supergirl, and you're already getting a complete bomb. Where do you go from here?
I think James Gunn.
That's what we're going to say his name from now. James Gunn.
I think James Gunn learned his lesson whenever it comes to DC and its future, is that Superman is not as popular as Batman, and Spider-Man. You almost need Batman to be some part of your film or the future of your film to get people to buy in to go in to see your movie. Did this movie feel really off? Yes. Yeah. All of it felt extremely off. I told you from the very beginning of the announcement of this movie, and knowing the hands that it's been in this entire time, that I'm worried for Millie Alcock, and I feel really bad for what's about to happen to her. And it all happened to her, just like I said to you. Yeah. And I still feel bad for her that this happened. Is some of it also in her hands as well? A small part of it, just because she is a new actress, and she unfortunately made the decision to say in press interviews that she did not watch other female-led superhero films, and that's kind of where the fan base took that hard right and was like, "Nah, I'm not buying it." And I really feel like she should have been prepped a little bit better on the media training, and whenever it comes to Supergirl as a whole, and kind of having that synergy with other superhero films led by women, it just would have done a lot for her. Not only that, this script was not anything special. I guess what I'm trying to say, and I'm buying myself time, but I'm like, I just have to bite the bullet and say it's that there was not as much attention to detail in this film as there was for Superman with the new Superman. And for me, I'm kind of left with a big question of like, why the fuck wasn't like this taken care of with the same level of attention as Superman? It doesn't make sense to me. I mean, if she's going to be added to a Superman film in the future, shouldn't this have the same depth and highs and lows and continuity of? It's just like they almost passed the football to her, and they didn't tell her which direction to go. Yeah.
Kind of just like thrown to the wolves for just a very generic superhero. Like, again, it's not a bad movie. Like, I've seen worse films. It's just, you watch it and you're like, I mean, it's cool, whatever. The movie ends and you kind of just be like, whatever, I guess I'm on to the next Superman movie. But some of the vibe in the movie, it's very like, can we keep remaking Guardians of the Galaxy and see if it sticks? And I think the answer is no. You need to stop, especially with needle drops.
Oh my god.
Use the damn score.
Oh my god.
And leave it at that. Like,
No.
yes, needle drops can work, but oh boy, they did not work in this film. And
I think that's like the hardest things to walk away from Supergirl with James Gunn's new DCU and everything is like the rewatch value on this is really, really poor. It's all leading up to like a Justice League movie or a specific storyline from the comics. People are gonna skip this one.
Oh yeah, we'll read the summary.
Yeah.
Like, okay, got it.
Yeah, or
Watch
they'll
the
completely rebuke Gunn's DCU. And there's nothing wrong with rewatching Snyderverse films or anything like that. I'm just saying that they're going to
I like some of the ones in there.
They're going to prefer those over the new. Yeah, and now I mean if anything, Gunn is just kind of making those films hot more.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they're like knocking on his door being like, yeah, Batman needs to show up now. Sorry. He needs to show up. Did you see what fucking Spider-Man did? Yeah, Batman needs to be in this fucking movie.
Anybody that thinks that there wasn't at least a conversation of like, hey, where is this going for that guy and I guess his handler that or should be handling him and telling him what to do, there is definitely a conversation had.
Oh, yeah.
He needs to get offline and stop talking to random people about his movies. He takes all the fun out of it. Anyways.
So another movie that we saw was Minions and Monsters, which we both rather enjoyed very well. And I don't know, Minions movies, like, I don't know, I think they're kind of funny sometimes. Like, yeah, they say banana a lot, but and using the old Hollywood feel of it, I think it worked really well. And this movie was not a huge hit for them. I mean, it made 600 something million, I think, but these movies tend to make 900 to $1 billion. So
audiences told Universal they're minioned out for a little bit, which, okay, it's fine.
It kind of sucks because it might be the best Minion movie.
Yeah, I definitely had fun with it, and I loved all the Hollywoodness of it. I definitely do get people being burnt out on Minion movies, though, and I don't want to, like, push you to be like, oh, yeah, you need to watch that Minion movie. But it was fun as a movie fan to go see Minions and Monsters. Very light watch, nothing serious.
Just get a good chuckle here and there.
Yeah,
and
just a good laugh. I mean, it was a good movie to catch during the summer, but that's all.
Yeah. I was more surprised on this movie didn't really have a staying power. It was kind of just like, here's Minions and Monsters. Yeah, it made like 600 million, but that's not a good success rate for them. They see this as probably a bomb. It didn't do very well. And maybe it was because they set it in like 1930s Hollywood, late 20s, because like they're doing talking like pictures, but maybe that little kids just don't understand what the story is.
Yeah, I think also Universal are using the theater to bounce ideas off of audiences on what they think they should have in theaters and what they put in theaters rather than like streaming is kind of like a risky move, especially whenever they could have moved something up that maybe was ready and would have done a lot better. Definitely think it's going to have a second life on streaming and that more people will watch it there. But it's just like I said, I think that they're gambling a lot of money and a lot of resources. It's almost like you wish that somebody in the room was like, hey, maybe we don't put this on the slate next year. Maybe just, play with things a little bit more, workshop them. I mean, I don't know what the test audience vibe was for it, but I think right now we're learning, like, what people are spending their dollars on at the theater and what's doing well at the theater and also what's not doing well. And so far, it's just been horror, action, and that's it.
I mean, besides Toy Story, like, I guess, like, the idea of, like, every animated movie is for kids, like, obviously that's not true, but maybe it's just the kids that grew up with Minions aren't watching Minions anymore. They're 15 now, 16, and...
No, they're watching Obsession.
Yeah, they're watching Obsession. They've moved to Obsession. And it's just, I guess it kind of sucks for Universal and Illumination because that was probably their most well-received Minions movie from a critical standpoint, but... audiences just kind of, I mean, they did obviously see it, but wasn't the hopefulness that I think that they thought it was going to be.
I do wonder where all the Minions kids went. That is it's aired.
Despicable Me, I think the first one came out in 2010. So say someone was born, they're 16 years old this year, which is even weirder to think about. But then when those Minions movies and obviously everyone after that, like these kids are then 2, 4, like they grew up with Minions.
I think you're right about the storyline and everything. I think
like
that's
it's just
what the
they don't care
was.
about that. Yeah, it's like, but like we watch it and we're like, hey, is that Charlie Chaplin over there? Like, okay,
I have fun.
Yeah, Transitioning to a movie that had a lot smaller production budget, but a fantastic script was we saw The Invite. Olivia Wilde's The Invite, and we both loved it. And I think this could be a movie that gets a lone screenplay nomination. I think this could be getting a lone screenplay nomination, and she directed the hell out of it, coming post Don't Worry, Darling. So Olivia Wilde has shown that she does have talent, and she just needs a great script and some fantastic acting in the movie.
I had a very good time with this one. I think that the entire film just being in this singular apartment, obviously it's not like, it felt like a stage play, and I think that's what
like
they were going for. Yeah.
That, to me, I always say, like, if you're setting your movie in one room, not like Backrooms, but like one room, this is going to show the talent of a director, because you can only set up so many shots and do, like, you're going to really have to make sure your pacing is good and you have your shots down correct, because there's only so many angles you can use in one room before people like start to get bored. So you got to kind of hope that you can still make it pop while being in one location.
So you know how people will use the word ensemble to categorize like films with lots of different actors in them. Like together they work well as an ensemble. This is that movie to like be like Exhibit A. Ensemble, this is that movie. Everybody did their job here and they did it very well. The concept was so good, so fresh. Even though it was a adaptation of a Spanish film that was sent to the writers, which were
Cheetah Jones.
Yes, and her husband, the writers. It didn't feel like it was just for a specific generation. It felt like something millennials, Gen Z, and boomers, like, that is a very interesting concept to like play around with another couple who you don't know very well. Just like I don't know, for me, greatest part about it was just like the big reveal, what they're into, and how like the entire room reacts, like, oh my god, it's so crazy. So like, who does this and who does that? I would be like the same way.
You have the same questions,
and it felt like you were in the room with them. So I really enjoyed The Invite.
I think everyone that has seen that movie has liked it. I don't see anyone that didn't like it at all. I think everyone liked it, and it's probably going to be a sleeper hit where, I mean, I think it did make a good amount of money, but people, I think, will forget about it over time. But then people will be like, oh wait, I liked The Invite. That was a good movie.
I think you should watch The Invite if you haven't seen The Invite.
But transitioning to another horror film, Evil Dead Burn, we saw, and I think we both were a little disappointed in Evil Dead Burn.
I don't know what you're talking about. Evil Dead Burn was my favorite movie of the year.
5 stars. Letterboxd.
Easy 5-star. No, I
think we even watched Evil Dead Rise before, and
that's what happened.
And I think I told you like 20 or 30 minutes. I always tell you like within like 15 minutes I can tell if I'm gonna like a movie or not, or I think it's gonna be good. 20 minutes into this, I was like, man, Evil Dead Rise is a pretty good movie. I wasn't even thinking of Evil Dead Burn. Sometimes it's attributed to acting, but acting in horror I'm never like critical on, because it's a horror movie. Like, they're supposed to make dumb decisions. The acting is not supposed to be the most fantastic thing, and the actors were fine in this. I just think that it didn't feel like an Evil Dead movie to me. It felt like it was just like something was happening to these people. It didn't feel like Evil Dead. It
felt like you know how like some of those horror anthology series will be like,
this could have been a short film,
like an IP like story, like
those VHS movies are
kind
of like shorts,
story within that universe of the IP or something like that. That's what it felt like. I think for me, what it was, I mean, I think whenever we were sitting by each other and I was just like looking at you, I was like, this is taking forever to like get, come on, like let's like advance the story or, you know, something. And by the very end, like I think like the last 20 minutes I looked at you and I was like, can we go? I'm ready for like wrap. Oh, what? And that's what I said.
Yeah, like,
that's what I said. Oh my god, like can we please wrap this up? Like this is insane.
And the movie's not even that long, but it does feel pretty long.
Yeah, it just, there's something wrong with it, and I know that's very funny to say about an Evil Dead movie because there's everything wrong with an Evil Dead movie, but Evil Dead Rise was,
I think it made me appreciate Evil Dead Rise a lot more.
It blows this movie out of the water as far as like you know where it could go in the future.
It was successful financially.
Yeah.
So Evil Dead still makes money. Horror always makes money. So even if it's funny horror, a scary movie, these movies make hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah. I'm just learning that both you and me have a very distinct taste with horror films. And that's okay.
I think we're more into like older horror films as opposed to saying newer films are the greatest films.
I don't know, man. I think Halloween Kills is still the greatest film of all time.
Technically, it's an older horror film now. So.
Evil dies tonight.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So that brings us to the Best Picture winner this year, The Odyssey.
What did we say after the movie? I was like, wrap it up. All right, we can wrap it up. Everybody go home.
I think for sure you can wrap up that director to Chris Nolan. Hey, here's another one, sir. Best Picture, I don't know, but it's the clear frontrunner right now. The clear frontrunner probably for a lot of awards, and yeah, it's a 5 out of 5. I don't know how to say it. Like, yeah, we saw it in IMAX, didn't see it 70mm IMAX, and that's a whole other conversation of that. But
of headaches
of how movies just kind of are made for that. But whatever. Odyssey, amazing. The balls to take the Odyssey and make it yourself. It goes back to the 50s and 60s epics that some worked, some didn't. Some directors lost their minds making them. Nolan knocked it out of the park and overperformed. I think it was only supposed to make $700 million, made like $1.4 billion. Yeah, I think it could be an Oppenheimer situation where it sweeps a lot. Rightfully so. Fantastic film.
I told you about Nolan casually dropping in little hints here and there of what his next film is going to be in previous films, like specifically like with Tenet, going to Oppenheimer. Like it's nothing done like on purpose. It is just like, I think he's spoken about it before. I'm pretty sure that it just somehow always happens to fall into whatever he's currently making. He's thinking about what he's doing next and everything. I think he's dropped a lot of hints that he's going to make a horror film soon, and I'm excited for that.
And he's even talked about it too.
Just for starters, Odyssey, amazing. Loved it. Incredible.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Now, I will say, and I'm probably going to get some hate for this, but I'm in the small percentage of people that was not very happy with the score for the Odyssey. And remember, I told you that after we saw it the first time. We watched this, obviously not like 19 or 20 times in 70mm IMAX like other people, but I'm just not the biggest fan of the score. And I was like really disappointed from Ludwig, just because I know, like, I get wanting to experiment and everything like that, but I was really hoping for something as epic as what was on the screen. Yeah. But that is just from my opinion, and I will fight everybody that I need to have my opinion be known. It just wasn't for me. But do I still have it on vinyl? Yes, I still have it on vinyl. So you know what? Fuck off.
I don't think it's his best score by far. Even on a rewatch, I didn't really like feel like it was like, oh my god, the Odyssey, like he's gonna easily win. At this point, like he's already a bigger name and it's gonna get nominated for score. I think I agree. I don't think the score is a huge part of the film. I think the spectacle of what you're watching is, and maybe that's what he kind of wanted to do. Maybe kind of keep it low in the background.
Keep it low key.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously when they're going to Troy, you can clearly, like, that's when the score is really noticeable, and I did like that part, but other than that, it's kind of just, like, there, I would say.
That part is it for me. Basically, you know, the biggest part of it that, like, you know, that's not bad. For me, I think what bothers me the most, and maybe it's because I'm a nerd, maybe that's why this is popping up for me. I saw a bunch of accounts be like, oh yeah, he's being super innovative with these instruments, and I'm like, guys, he composed a score for Mandalorian and Grogu. It's very derivative of those innovative like sounds and everything. I was like, it's just that it's a Nolan movie. That's like, oh, everything is so fresh and new and great, and losing our minds.
Yeah. But I think, I mean, obviously, like, we both loved it, and I don't know what else to say about it. And it's made shit ton of money, and it's probably going to win 8 or 9 Academy Awards, and I think Nolan does have Best Director wrapped up, and I think it just continues to put his name in the conversation of the greatest directors of all time, even though people don't like him, but he's a name that people know.
Not much to say here other than just like the funny little parts of the film that just stuck with me. I think I pretended to turn my dog into a human like 50 times since the movies come out. I just like pretending like I'm turning her into a human. I'm sure she doesn't appreciate it, but it's fun.
But yeah, I mean, like you said, those scenes are he very well.
Now they're a part
of
of pop culture. Yeah. I will say that. I love how we're moving into a part of.
People know what you're talking about when you say stuff like
that.
Yes. Yeah.
Or like they'll like see a TikTok or
like someone doing that to somebody. They know exactly the reference.
Exactly the reference. It's crazy how quick. It's just like my thing with saying the world moves a lot faster now. It's how quick these moments in film are becoming pop culture iconic moments.
So I'll definitely say transitioning to a film that was style over substance. We saw Her Private Hell, directed by Nicholas Winding Refn, who I feel post Drive is trying to just make Drive again, and all of his movies kind of have this same feel, which I mean they all look gorgeous, but I can see why people don't like this at all. And I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I really had no idea what the hell was going on in the movie. So and I'm pretty good with being like, nah man, it's like about blah blah. Like it was very nice to look at, but other than that, don't really know what's going on here.
Yeah, I just remember being very intrigued by Her Private Hell and wondering what was gonna happen with what the movie was about, with where it was going, and just remember the movie being over and being very, well, that's interesting. I think that's what my brain kept on saying over and over again. Well, that was interesting. I was very puzzled by whether or not I like enjoyed it watching it, and after thinking about it and what the movie is about and what the story had in it and everything like that, I just kept thinking to myself, man, I think this movie was just specifically made for Tobey Maguire and Leonardo DiCaprio. But no, I mean, also in being respectful of like what the actual story is about, I think the reclaiming of your power after it being taken away from you, or possibility of it being taken away from you just from generational fear or things like constantly being the way that they are, like just kind of like accepting like very weird things happening in your life and not having any control over it. It's there, but you're grasping for straws. Like, and that's whenever you go into the dangerous territory of being like, oh, well, you're just dumb because you didn't get that the first time.
Yeah.
Or, you just don't get this. This movie isn't for you. You just don't get it. Well, hold on. Like, it's just everything's so finite now. And you either like something or you don't. Or, like, if you say you didn't enjoy it, it's, like, immediately bad. Like, sometimes you just don't enjoy things. And it doesn't always have to be, like, good and bad. Like, I just don't like that distinction of things because not everything that is good for you feels good. Kind of just blew my mind right now. And not everything that is bad for you feels bad. Sometimes it feels good. I don't know. It's just like medicine. Kind of like a medicine movie.
Yeah.
Like getting medicine without knowing you're getting medicine kind of thing. Like a, I don't know, what is it? Placebo?
Yeah. But I guess it's like that. It's like, it's style over substance. It's like getting that.
Exactly.
And like, again, visually looks incredible. Like, this is beautiful to look at, and I understand like what he's trying to go for here, but I don't think it landed at all. So, yeah. But that's just us. I'm sure there's people that did like Her Private Hell that probably won't say that they liked it, but they're like, yeah, I kind of like that movie, but I'm never gonna say that I liked it. So, yeah, because you don't want to be that person on the internet that likes a movie that everyone hates. So, yeah, I would say it's kind of like a very, that movie came out and we're never gonna watch that again. So that brings us to Spider-Man Brand New Day, which probably is going to finish as the third highest grossing film of all time, which I don't think anyone thought of that when this movie was going to come out. But yeah, I think we both like this a lot. I think it might be my favorite Tom Holland Spider-Man. The more I think about it, I think it's definitely his best performance. And I don't know, it felt very like grounded, and I think that's what they were trying to do, is being like, when they have that small potato scene, like what you're doing, you need to be handling this street level stuff.
I like
while
that.
We handle the aliens coming down. Okay, you handle that, we'll handle this. Like,
yep.
And I think they did it very well, and obviously audiences love it. I mean, it's over $2 billion now, so good for Tom Holland and Zendaya.
Yeah. What was supposed to be a small potato story turned into a big potato movie for Tom Holland. And I think the only thing that I have to say about this movie is this is the product of trusting your talent knowing that it is in the right hands, because he spoke up so many different times whenever something wasn't working or whenever something in the story felt off, and having a collaborative director be able to not have this ego whenever it comes to like, you know, hey, this guy's been playing him for quite a bit and has had some successful films. And not to take away any success from, you know, the previous director or anything like that, but it feels like this was a good counter argument to the, is the superhero film dead? Or is the superhero genre dwindling? And I think that audiences are just, first of all, Spider-Man is very popular, but also the type of story, the type of movies, the type of action that's playing out in these things, like, it's just like I said at the very beginning of this recording, was just that audiences are getting smarter, and that they're telling you what they want by going to see this movie over and over again. They want these kinds of movies. I have my own personal thoughts about Amy Pascal and the collaboration with, you know, Marvel and everything like that. Also with what Marvel did to its former employees and everything. I think moving forward, I think we need to trust the talent and trust the filmmaker more than what is kind of being forced on a lot of other filmmakers with the films that they're responsible for, because I mean, they obviously knocked it out of the park. Destin Daniel Cretton was so close to doing a big Avengers film. Actually, he was supposed to do the big Kang Dynasty movie that was supposed to be Doomsday. And obviously now, I mean, he proved to the industry and to Marvel and Sony that he does have the sauce
to do it.
To do it. And that's all. It was cool finding out who Sadie Sink really was. I mean, you really didn't need that name not to be said or anything like that. And, you know, eventually it led obviously to Comic-Con and D23, which was cool. For me, it wasn't that it was underwhelming. It was just like, okay, like, we'll see. Definitely did notice that she did stray a little bit younger than with the rest of the X-Men cast they got for the movie. So I'll be interested to see how that plays into it, if she can play older, not play older, but if her chops can keep up with those. It's just like you said, like with Adam Driver.
I think it just shows how big of a character Spider-Man is, and how he might be the most famous superhero besides Batman, which obviously that's DC and not Marvel. But from Sony and Marvel's standpoint, it's like maybe you should be gearing storylines around Spider-Man, because clearly audiences want Spider-Man movies. And I mean, this thing's gonna finish, like, could even be higher than that. I don't know, it could finish the second, or it could be the highest grossing movie of all time. I don't know. But it's kind of crazy how well this performed, and I kind of agree. I'm very curious to see the X-Men dynamic, because I mean, they even admitted that was the first time they had all met each other. So Adam Driver, like, I don't need that guy to do a chemistry test. I know he can, but if you're gonna have a group of people like that have never met each other, that aren't huge stars, you're putting a gamble on what you're doing. But I guess we'll see.
I'm very curious to see whether or not Kit Connor and Sadie Sink have any chemistry there, or if they're gonna change the story, because I'm very anxious to see where this Jake Schreier X-Men film goes. But
and they haven't shot anything yet, so they could start doing chemistry reads, and if something doesn't work out, maybe they could transition. Obviously not. Sadie Sink is the only one that's definitely alive.
I think for me, it's very surprising to see that not a lot of people are really hyper fixated on the X-Men Sadie Sink part of it as they are on Spider-Man. That by itself is just like pretty interesting.
Again, it's like maybe they should be doing more Spider-Man stories, and even the Spider-Verse animated films, huge hits, they make a lot of money and people love them. So
I will say, I was on the fence with John Bernthal for a very, 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 very long time. This, finally, I was just like, okay,
it works. Yeah, they have a good chemistry, and you've never seen them together, and like they basically just have the exposition of that one time doing that, and it works. Like they have good chemistry together.
Good.
Yeah, it
I hope they tie in more stuff like
little
that.
Like side like things that they did. That it's like watching an animated.
And then Florence Pugh is in this. It's super successful, and she's about to be in Doomsday.
But yeah, too, it's like you watching like a cartoon, and like they mentioned something that happened that was never in an episode, but it just happened off screen. Like, we did all that. Remember that? Like,
it's good writing.
Yeah, it's like we've been together for 2 years now, or a year. We've been doing stuff together. So
I would say that it was as fun to see them next to each other as it was seeing Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, like it works. And Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman have great chemistry. It works.
Give them a run for their money for sure.
Another movie that takes place in New York that we saw. Not in the same universe.
Maybe not, hopefully not at the same time. That would be very interesting.
Really weird, yeah. One Night Only. Will Gluck, he's got a track record of making some great rom-coms with Easy A and Friends with Benefits, and Anyone But You was a massive hit that came out a few years ago. But this one, I think it had its moments, and I could see where it was going. And obviously Callum Turner, Monica Barbaro, very good-looking people. Like, you had all the elements there, but I don't know if it fully came together, the idea of what was going on. And it's kind of like they do like a weird, like in the beginning, like they talk about how this is kind of like fascism, but we're just gonna like brush over that.
It walks a very small beam and it wobbles a little bit. It has holes. Mr. Dua Lipa and Miss Monica Barbaro.
Yeah, it's Dua Lipa's husband.
Yeah. I call him Mr. Dua Lipa. That's his name. His name is... He won't be Callum Turner until he does that performance that makes him Callum Turner. Mm-hmm. Mr. Dua Lipa and Monica Barbaro did their job with the script and with the movie and everything. Was I anticipating something as sharp and bright as Easy A? Yes, but One Night Only feels very medium well when you're looking for like a rare.
Yeah.
We're all looking for a rare for this one. But yeah, the concept was maybe a little bit too much of an ass, even though The Purge was like right there.
It's kind of like The Purge meets, I think I keep mentioning this movie to you, In Time.
Yes.
It's like, which is like a really great concept. Actually, I think Roger Deakins shot In Time, but interesting concept that you're like, yeah, I mean, I guess that could work, but they're just not like fully fleshed out. And I don't know. Sometimes it's kind of hard to buy that Monica Barbaro and Mr. Dua Lipa can't find love by the way they look, but it's like, but like I said, it's a rom-com.
I know. Like, yeah. If they can't find love, we're fucked.
I don't know how it did financially. I haven't really like looked at the box office for that one, but I mean, it was fine. It was fine for what it was. And I was kind of just like, this could get to a good point, but I think it made me, again, kind of going back to Evil Dead Burn, I think it kind of made me like Anyone But You a little bit more than...
I think for me, even though it wasn't as solid as I, really wanted it to be, I just thought it was kind of refreshing to see that a studio is willing to take a risk on a raunchy comedy that had butts in it.
Yeah. And he said he had to remove a lot of the sex from the movie too. So
honestly,
give us the unrated cut. I don't care.
I don't know. It freaks me out how society is like telling people to not be people. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a very weird concept that they like brush over the government part of it, and you're just like, okay, whatever. I guess we're just gonna go past that part.
One Night Only. Maybe you just watch it one night only.
Yeah. Maybe you do. So that brings us to a very 80s film that came out a few weeks ago, and that is The End of Oak Street, which we both enjoyed very much. And I agree from the people that have said this, that this is what the Jurassic World movie should have been. And I fully agree.
Yes.
Yes, I agree too.
It felt like Super 8 and Jurassic Park had a baby, and I love that. David Robert Mitchell, he's only known for some reason for It Follows, but he's done a few films. I think this is
technically his third film is this, because Under the Silver Lake, no one really watched that. Yeah. So
honestly, I've seen a lot of articles that say that The End of Oak Street is like the definitive summer film, and that's basically where my experience is with it. It is very refreshing to know that like you can go to a movie during the summer and turn your brain off and just like kind of accept what's in front of you. Yeah, accept what's happening in front of you. I like that there's not like a serious deep dive of explanation or exposition to like why it's happening, what are the logistics of it. It's just like happening right in front of you. And I think David Robert Mitchell actually said in a press interview, just like the pitch for this movie was like, what would happen if dinosaurs were on your street? Yeah. And I was like, that's pretty cool. Like that he was able to accomplish that with a big studio. And they were like, yeah, we're right behind you. We believe in whatever you need. I think that's cool. Not bland of a concept, but that bare of an idea is really cool. And it ended up being something that I enjoyed a lot.
No, I like the idea of like, I mean, they do kind of mention at the end, like what, but it's just like, I don't know. It just happened. This part went to the prehistoric times and there's fucking dinosaurs. So, like, there's dinosaurs here now. I want to see what you would do in the 1980s with dinosaurs running around. There's a T-Rex outside. And I think it works very well. And the suspense is great. And there is a pretty shocking moment that happens in it, which I don't know how this movie didn't get rated R.
Yeah.
So.
It defies all of the things that you would think are bad or wrong about dinosaur films or that specific subgenre of sci-fi movies. It defies all of them, and I think that's cool. I don't think that dinosaur movies... I feel like anybody could watch this, and I think that's the coolest part of it. Now, it should have gotten a lot more buzz and a lot more people watching it. But just like Disclosure Day. Yeah. Just like Disclosure Day.
Yeah. I think people will be like, yo, have you seen The End of Oak Street? That movie's awesome. Like,
it's just a different world.
Yeah. And the final film that we wanted to talk about, we saw recently, and I think... I don't know, I want to put this out. Is this one of our favorite films of the year? I think so. And that is Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Miasma. Absolutely fantastic. Loved it. Loved every second of it. This is what fucking movies should be. Also going into the conversation of why aren't we talking about Jane as one of the better horror directors working with I Saw the TV Glow and now this? Why is it just Curry Barker and Kane Parsons?
Very valid point. Yes, can confirm that Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Miasma is definitely one of my favorite films of the year so far. It just sets a high bar for what's to come out of the genre now. And using that genre to express something even deeper than, what any sort of like... This isn't a coming of age film, but it feels like it sort of... It's
in a way, I think it is.
It tackles this very specific moment in a young person's life that changes everything and almost shapes you. And I think that's really cool. And just having all of those very nostalgic elements be right in front of you while you almost like... Because Jane asks you to like deconstruct a lot of things like while things are happening to the characters in the movie, and I think it's all balanced really well. I know that I Saw the TV Glow is really hard for some people to watch, and they go back to like rediscover something else in it and do come out of the other end with it. It's like what I was telling you whenever we got out of the theater, that a lot of studios and a lot of executives will tell filmmakers like, don't focus on just one person in the audience. I mean, this is the product of doing that. Queer horror fans are aplenty, and there's one in each of our lives. It's so cool to see in 2026, in this world that we live in, that this is kind of a movie that I don't know what the numbers are yet. I don't know. It'll
be probably a cult, little classic film.
Yes.
The movies they talk about in the film are cult classic films.
It's a very special one to me, and it's going to just... Value is going to continue to be added to that movie as it goes on, just like I Saw the TV Glow. There's no competition with this director. If that narrative ever comes on the opposite side of this, it's not an argument that needs to be had.
And they use a Counting Crow song very well in this. It's not coming of age, but it kind of is, and that Counting Crow song makes you feel a certain way like the first time you hear it, and it will always stick with you when you hear it again. That's kind of what she's going for in this film.
I think everything has a purpose in the movie. None of it's for shock value or... Because these are all the elements of like why Horror Lover loves horror. Is the community part of it, the low-key controversial like history with it, and like how studios take care of it over time and everything. It just has a lot to say about the industry, has a lot to say about, self-love, allowing yourself to enjoy something or partake in something and not be afraid of it. And I just really loved the performances, and I think that this is going to be a very, 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 very special film.
And I'll say I think it's one of the best directed films of the year. Saying it right here.
Wow.
Summer is always very like box office, like big spectacle heavy, but then you have smaller films that nobody really sees that you're like, wait, this is probably the best film I've seen this year, and no one saw it. And I think that's like every year, but I think in the summer there's always one or two movies that nobody really saw that will have a staying power after, I think.
Those usually will be watched by the end of the year. It just takes a bit.
Yeah, and some of them aren't released in certain areas, and they'll wait till VOD.
That's why word of mouth is so important.
Very, very important. And I think as we wrap up this summer box office talk, we can talk about our projections that we did a few months ago.
I don't want to look at my projections. I'm embarrassed.
Actually, we didn't do that bad. I think we kind of gauged it pretty well, and I can run through these pretty quick. But I guess starting off, The Devil Wears Prada 2, which we didn't really talk about in this summer box office recap, but that kind of kicked off the summer. Mm-hmm. We projected it would make 250 to 350 million, and it made 691 million, almost $700 million. So we definitely were wrong there, but I mean, good for that film. Good for Anne Hathaway, actually. Good for Anne Hathaway this year.
I have my own thoughts about that.
She has made over $2 billion for films this year, so
that's
good for her.
Great.
Good for her. The next film, which we didn't see, was Mortal Kombat 2. We said it would make 300 to 400 million. It only made 129 million, which I think I told you. I said that movie is going to be dead in the water. And I've heard it's actually kind of fun. Like, it's a lot better than the first one. Oh. But that's sometimes with these box office numbers, it doesn't really equate to obviously the actual quality of the film. So
I would like to say that for the next movie, I was right on the money. So there you go.
And then the next film, which we didn't talk about either, which we didn't see, that's why we didn't talk about it, is Star Wars: The Mandalorian and Grogu. We said it would make 270 to 400 million, and it only made $345 million. A Star Wars film only made $345 million. And I think that should be a wake-up call to Lucasfilm and Disney.
Yep, get the guy in the cowboy hat out.
So, but yeah, we didn't see it. That's why we didn't talk about it in the summer box office. The next one we also didn't see, Masters of the Universe, we said would make 200 million. It only made 114 million. But from what I've heard, this film could become a cult classic. The people that have seen it really liked it. It's just, I think it's actually streaming on Prime Video. They put it up on Prime Video very fast.
Oh, yeah.
So, they want people to watch it. And I think it's one of the most streamed things right now is that movie. I think it's the number one on the charts since being on there. So people have been watching it on there. So maybe
there you go.
They didn't want to spend their money in the theaters to see it. And they're now going to be like, wait, I actually kind of like this movie. So the next movie, Scary Movie. We said it would make 100 to 200 million, and it made 231 million. So very, very profitable.
Busted the
good for them.
Projection.
Good for them. Disclosure Day, we said would make 600 to 700 million, and it only made 241 million dollars.
Well, you know,
can't win them all.
Yeah, you can't win them all.
We still love you, Steven, but I think that over time people will change their tune on Disclosure Day. The ones that didn't really like it that much, but maybe they'll never watch it again. So I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see. Toy Story 5, we said would make $1 billion, and I think it made $1.1 billion, so I think we were pretty on the nose there. We nailed that one. Supergirl, we said would make $300 million, and it only made $126 million, and we talked about how it was a bomb, and a very big bomb, one of the biggest bombs probably in movie history, especially superheroes. So Minions and Monsters, we said would make 800 to 900 million.
Oh my God, this is so embarrassing.
I guess I spoke wrong earlier. It's made around 500 million, so I guess I said it made like 600 or something. It's only made 500, so this is definitely not a hit for Illumination and Universal.
What is going on?
They're probably rethinking their Minions, like you said earlier. Maybe it's Minions. People are minioned out. Maybe they don't want any more bananas.
No bananas.
This one, okay. We're gonna preface this that we were thinking about Lilo and Stitch of last year.
And Moana 2.
And Moana 2, which made a lot of money. We said that Moana would make $1 billion. And it's only made like $250 million, $260 million. Very big bomb for Disney.
That is rough.
And I don't know if now, I mean, I think Tangled coming out, and I think it comes out for a couple years, but I think that will be a little profitable for them. But I think this goes to show that, hey, you might need to stop making these live action movies. Like, yes, you can find a one-hit wonder in Lilo and Stitch making $1 billion, which they're making a Lilo and Stitch 2. I personally think that people were very confused that they thought this was Moana 3 and it was not a remake of a movie that came out 10 years ago. I don't know what they were doing. Don't know what they were doing. We said that the Odyssey would make 700 to 800 million, and it's made about 1.4 billion. So we were off, but I guess in a good way we were off. Made more than people thought it would.
Mind you, that projection was because whenever these guesstimates were made between us, we were also factoring in audience excitement. And at that time, there was a lot of conversation about the woke Odyssey or whatever. And I was
the costume design.
I was preparing myself for that.
So we're glad to be wrong there. And finally, Spider-Man: Brand New Day. We said would make $1 billion, and I think it's made like $2.3 billion. It's on its way to becoming the third highest grossing film of all time. So we are wrong, but not really wrong in the bad way. But yeah, that movie has overperformed. I think no one thought it would make $2 billion, and it's made $2 billion. So I mean, good for Tom Holland.
$1 billion for Sony, $1 billion for Marvel.
Yeah, Tom Holland and Zendaya both in the Odyssey. Good for them.
Yep.
Making $3 billion easy this year. And with that wraps up this summer box office recap. Excited to get back into the weekly film news, talking new films. Oscar season's right around the corner. Wasn't it just end? Now it's knocking on the door. The Oscar movies are coming. The big blockbusters, besides obviously Doomsday, but the big blockbusters they're not coming around anymore. It's Oscar time.
Yeah, every movie that comes out for the rest of the year is very sad and depressing.
Mm-hmm. That's what wins Oscars, and
let's go fall,
and musical biopics. They're
Happy
the only
fall,
ones that win
y'all.
Oscars. But like I said earlier, though, could be an Odyssey sweep. I don't know. Could be an Odyssey sweep. Academy likes Nolan now. They didn't like him in the past, but they like him now.
I'm excited to be on the brink of another season of movies and get back to doing this. Summer was definitely a life-changing summer, and I'm just glad to be getting back into my routine of talking movies with you.
I'm excited to get back into it as well. And hey, Tony, go watch a fucking movie.
Hey, Patrick, go watch a fucking movie.
This podcast is hosted and edited by Pat Brennan. That's me, with intro and closing music by Patrick Baxter.